So let me know if this sounds familiar. You book tons of calls, but it seems like all of the leads that you speak to are just unqualified. But what if I told you there's a way to use AI to pre-qualify your leads before even hopping on a call with them? If you don't know me, my name is Aryan. I run a lead generation agency that's generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for our clients. And in this video, I want to walk you through how you can use AI so that you filter out bad leads and only speak to the highest quality prospects. So please, give me your full attention, full screen this video, and watch it all the way through because I'll walk you through step by step how to solve this. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here is how you can stop wasting time on unqualified leads. Don't understand your time, so let's get right into it. So the problem here is that you book calls, but you ultimately it's with prospects who are not the right fit, they don't have the budget, and ultimately end up wasting hours and hours of your valuable time, right? You obviously value your time very much, and if you're speaking to unqualified prospects who are not a good fit, who can't afford your services, you'd much rather use that time elsewhere so that you can run your business and generate more money rather than wasting time on a call for somebody who won't generate you any money at all, right? So how you can actually solve this is you can use AI to pre-qualified leads. You can also tighten up your ICP, your ideal customer profile, so that it is exactly like your dream customer. So first things first, let's get started with the budget. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'll be outright with you. This is the hardest thing to solve because no database can tell you outright if a company has budget or not. It's not like you just go on Apollo or any of these databases and it's like, okay, can you find me roofing companies that have at least $3,000 in budget to spend on my services? There's no database that does that because no database I don't think will ever be able to do that because nobody can just get inside a company's financials like that, right? Now there are a few ways you can use a database and AI to basically see if a company has a budget. So for example, if you filter out by employee headcount, typically the larger or the more employees they have, the more likely it is that they have a budget. But even then, some companies, they only have a budget for the year that they might already be spending by then. So if you filter out by employee headcount, it's fine. It doesn't always mean they have a more of a budget, but it can mean that. You can also see if a company recently got funded. So you can go on Crunchbase and you can see, okay, which companies recently got funded for a Series A or a Series B. That's a pretty good indicator that, okay, they have some type of budget. Or you can also see if they're hiring for a certain role. So for example, if you're selling software services, you can scrape companies who are hiring for, let's say, a CTO or a software developer, right? So that's a pretty good indicator to see if they have some type of budget or they're willing to invest in some type of solution. But again, it's really not the most ideal, right? I'll be honest with you, the hardest thing to solve when it comes to pre-qualifying leads is the budget. But if you use these three things, plus if you use the two things I'm going to talk about right here down below, you might be able to actually close them, right? So besides just targeting, you should also have some type of downsell or lower package. And the reason why is because when you're reaching out to cold prospects, they're not going to just hop on one call with you and buy your 5K a month, 7K a month, 10K a month package. It's not going to work like that. You're going to have to have some type of downsell, or you're going to have to nurture them and keep them in your CRM and follow up with them, right? But ultimately, if you have some type of downsell to where you can get at least some type of money from them, then at least that's worth their time. So let me give you an example that I like to use. If you're a YouTube agency and your full YouTube agency services cost, let's say $5,000 a month, right? You hop on a call with the prospect and you can tell that, okay, this guy probably can't afford my services. What you can do is you can sell him a part of your services, not your main service, but a part of your services for a cheaper rate. So if the 5K a month package doesn't make sense for them, you can be like, okay, totally understand. How about I give you my YouTube scripts templates and you can just use them in your business for $1,000 outright, just one-time $1,000 fee. Would that be okay? And then that 30-minute meeting, instead of being unqualified prospect, you can get potentially $1,000, which is honestly not bad. Obviously, it's not 5K, but you can get $1,000. And the reason why something like this works is because if you sell them that $1,000 package, let's stick with the YouTube example, then they'll be like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll buy it. And if they end up buying it, they'll have solved one part of the issue, but the other part still is there. So what I mean is, okay, now you know how to script a YouTube video, but I still need help with the thumbnail. I still need help with YouTube title. I still need help with SEO optimizing it. I still need help with the editing. So later on, when they have more of a budget, they'll be like, oh, I bought this YouTube script template from this one guy, which is pretty good, but now I need help with the thumbnail or doing all this stuff. Let me hop on a call with them again. So later on down the line, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. They'll come back to you and be like, hey, I used your YouTube scripts. They were very good. Let's hop on a call. I think I'm ready to buy your main services now. Done. Just like that. Done. Right? So have a downsell and you keep them in your CRM and follow up with them. Right? Again, this is the hardest thing to solve, but ultimately this is the only way you can do this. Right? So the second thing, or the actionable step for you here, actual step, is tightening up your targeting. So what do I mean by that? You want to take a look at your best customers and ask yourself, what characteristics do they all have, right? So ask yourself, okay, were they a CMO? What job title did they hold? What industries were they in? How many employees did they have? What geography were they in? And then you want to input those, now boil it down and input those characteristics into filters on Apollo. Again, go by job title, industry, employee headcount, technology, geography. Were they using some type of technology? Or did they have over 20 employees? Whatever industry. So for example, maybe your ICP or your best customers were like CMOs at marketing agencies in Canada that had anywhere between 20 to 1,000 employees that use HubSpot, for example, right? So what you can do with this is, if your ICP is too broad, separate them by segments. So what I mean is, you can either separate them by job titles or employee headcounts. So for example, you can for that same example here, you can use, okay, CMOs of marketing agencies in Canada with 20 to 100 employees that use HubSpot. And then another one could be CMOs of marketing agencies that in Canada from 100 to 500 employees that use HubSpot. You see how you've essentially segmented the lead list or segmented the campaign and basically separated it so that it is split. And the reason why this is important is because you won't be wasting time talking to prospects who are not qualified, right? You're literally, okay, if I get more customers like my best customer, then they'll more than likely have the budget. They're more than likely be a really good fit for my services. So why don't I just go after those same types of customers, right? It's pretty simple. But most companies it just flies over their head that, okay, why don't I just, if I have all these, if I have identified commonalities within my best customers, what job title they are, what technologies they use, what industries they may be, why don't I just target similar customers? That way I know that they'll already be a good fit for my services, right? And this works super well because you're literally going to be leveraging your best case study. You're going to be reaching out to your ideal customers who are typically like your best customers, and you will book more calls. You're not trying to invent something new. You're not trying to find the next industry that might work. You're using something that already works. You're using something that, okay, I know that if I get more customers like these, they'd be a great fit for my services or company, so why don't I just reach out to them? It's pretty simple logic, but it makes the most sense, right? So essentially here for this step, just find your best customers, identify the characteristics, and if the characteristics are too broad, like if it's too large, just separate it by job titles or separate it by employee headcount. Pretty simple, but you will literally not book unqualified leads if they are like your best customers. Simple, right? So the last step is using AI. Now, sometimes that second step isn't always the most applicable, especially if you don't really know like the best characteristics. You can essentially, what you can do is you can use AI to describe your ICP to them, to AI, and tell it to take a look at your lead list and score each lead based on how likely it is that they are a good fit. So let's say, for example, you pull a lead list off of Apollo, right? You pull a lead list off of Apollo and you tell it, okay, hey, take a look at this company's website. Let me know if they are like whatever your ICP is. So for this example, my clients wanted to reach out to a metaphysical supply store. A metaphysical supply store is like a spiritual store, right? We basically told AI to be like, hey, take a look at this company's website and let me know if this is a metaphysical supply store. Score the lead on 1 to 10 on how likely it is that they are, right? And AI went through my entire lead list, if you let me zoom in, and it basically scored each lead based on how likely it is that they are a metaphysical supply store, right? So I hope the cogs in your head are starting to turn here, right? You can essentially pull a lead list off of Apollo, Outscripper, ZoomInfo, whatever you guys use, throw it on to Clay, and basically ask Clay or ask GPT to score each lead based on how likely it is that they are X type of company. Again, find your ideal customer, describe your ideal customer to AI, and then tell AI to score the lead list on how likely it is that they are like your ideal customer. Works super well, super well. And then from here, all you would have to do is just delete all the ones that are like 5 and below, 6 and below, whatever it may be, and only reach out to ones that are 7 and up or 8 and up, right? Again, fantastic way to do this. And you can just literally just describe your ideal customer to AI and essentially score it before you even reach out, and then before you reach out to them. And again, the more specific you are, the better the AI scoring will be, as it'll have more context into what you're exactly looking for, right? So essentially, you're basically pre-qualifying the lead list before even reaching out to them. Before you even send them an email, before you send them a message, you're basically seeing if they are a good fit in the first place, and then if they're not, you're deleting them and you're keeping the ones that are, right? So that's how you use AI to pre-qualify leads before you even reach out to them, right? So ladies and gentlemen, if you find this video valuable, please press like and subscribe. And if you are a B2B business that wants someone to help you book and reach out to qualified prospects and book you 5 to 12 qualified months every single month, click the link below. Here's some examples of some of our clients. Deepak here is closing a $13,000, $20,000 deal. Renee from First Rank Digital closed somebody for Google Ads and SEO. One of our other clients closed 11K deal. So if you want someone to basically qualify leads for you and so that you only reach out to qualified prospects, click the link in the description below and we'll book a time to chat. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.